Hi y'all, it's Paul McVicker. I'm back with y'all today. We're going to cover the Second Amendment today. I already did the First Amendment the other day, so if you have watched that video, hey, push a thumbs up. Today we're going to cover the Second Amendment and your rights thereof. We're going to take it piece by piece. We're going to read through it, then we're going to take it into two parts, the part of the militia and the part of your gun rights and the right to bear arms. So we're going to do that. Then I'm going to explain to you guys how militia works and how that National Guard is anti-constitutional. No offense to you guys that are in National Guard. But then after that, we're going to explain gun rights and how guns actually work. Because I've heard a lot of people online say that they call the iron sights the aimer. And for that example, where you're going to use a BB gun, it's not going to be a real gun. It's just going to be a BB gun. It looks a lot similar to a 44 Magnum, but with a shorter barrel and a little bit smaller. So that's what we're going to be using. So might as well just get back to it. I'm going to read right now from the Second Amendment. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. Notice the word free. Keep that in mind. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Okay, so we're going to separate this. If you guys caught that free state part, we're going to keep that in mind when we say this. So the first part we're going to take is a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. What does this mean, you might ask? What it means is that each state, originally from the constitutional laws, says that we all have a right to an individual state militia, our own personal state military, okay, built up from the citizens of that state. Okay, so each state of the 50 states should have, a well-regulated militia of the free state. Now, since we got into that part, we're going to move on to the right of guns. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. That means that the government can make no laws restricting us from owning guns or from having knives, from having, whatever. The government tries to put safety measures on the guns when really it's our right, it's our constitutional right to have the guns. So you just have to be responsible with them and respectful to those around you with them. Okay, so let's explain what the militia is. As I already said, there's basically a military of each individual state of the U.S. But what is its point? What's the meaning behind having a militia for each state? Well, I'm going to tell you. Why we have a militia for each state, or constitutionally supposed to, is because if ever, in case the U.S. government, such as Congress or the White House or the courts, were corrupt, or all three, that if they started invading the states, free states, that we had the means to fight back. We had the guns, we had the people that are free from the government, so we can actually fight back and get our rights back. That's what the purpose of the free state militias were, so that no corrupt government could conquer every state, or at least have a hard time doing so. Because our forefathers thought this through, because they were being infringed upon from King George III. He was pushing all these taxes. He was pushing on quartering of his soldiers on people. He was taking away guns. He was taking away, he putting way more taxes on anybody, and he was keeping tabs on everybody. Okay, so what the forefathers, such as George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, all those people, Paul Revere maybe, he was a good patriot, but anyway, what they were thinking of is that they didn't want that to happen to their great grandchildren. So they even thought that through at that point, saying, we're going to make it better for our grandchildren to put this law in effect so that everybody can be free. So if the government were to be corrupt, we could all defend ourselves. So that's basically what the militia is. But I'm going to put this out here. I'm going to step on some toes. I am anti-National Guard. I'm sorry if you're a National Guard and you are offended by that comment. I am anti-National Guard. The reason behind this is constitutionally illegal. Yeah, it is. Because, yes, the National Guard was placed in effect to protect the country as a whole. but it is still run by the government. It's not run by the free states. It's run by the government, which means that if the government turned corrupt on us, if the government started invading our homes, National Guard would have to be under them. They wouldn't be under us to defend us. They would be underneath the government. So not only do we not have our own militia, but we have our own military police policing us. Thousands of men, women, policing us when they're supposed to be defending us. So that's why I'm anti-National Guard. I know, I respect you guys for joining, trying to do what was right, but the idea behind National Guard is unconstitutional, so that organization has lost all my respect because it's unconstitutional. So, now we're going to explain gun rights. I know there's a lot of shootings going on around here, a lot of confusion through the country, a lot of twisted and evil thoughts going on about guns. There's also the thought of gun control, taking away guns from the American people. Now I'm just going to stop you guys right there. If you guys are one of those people that think that we should have gun control and take away all the guns from the American people, that's not going to fix the problem. Because what that is going to do, that's just going to make us an open target for all the terrorists attacks and for all those people that want to invade America as it is. So what we need to do is not start taking away the guns. We need to start giving back the guns. According to the Constitution, we have the right to bear arms and it shall not be infringed. So instead of taking away everybody's guns, stop taking away their guns. We should be resupplying people with guns so that anybody got robbed at a store could defend themselves. Anybody that, I don't know, got in a hostage situation had a gun on him at least. He might be able to fix the problem, he might not. That's up to him. But he had to make that choice. But he still has the means to keep on. Now if he wants to carry the gun on him, that's cool. If he doesn't, that's cool. It's up to you. But it's your right to choose. Now, you guys should not be taking it away from people like me. You should be taking people from the NRA members. You should be taking it away from any of the American people because it's their constitutional right set in by the forefathers with their foundation of a nation under God. Now, since we talk about gun rights, we're going to go into talking about how guns work and different pieces and parts of it. So, I'm going to start here. This is basically the same setup as a .44 Magnum for the most part. We're just going to start. Now this isn't going to be the same setup for every gun. If you get an M1911 or a Glock 27, it's going to be a completely different setup. So I'm just going to explain how this one works, and then we'll just move on. So basically, this is your trigger. Everybody knows this is a trigger, right? So you pull it, it shoots. But if you have a single action pistol, it should pull back the hammer. This is the hammer. So if you have a single action, all you have to do is pull back the trigger and it pulls the hammer back automatically. And the farther you pull the trigger, it should fire. I have CO2 in it, so I'm not going to fire it for you all. But then if you have a double action, you actually have to pull back this hammer and then you have to pull the trigger to fire. So it's kind of different. So I just wanted to point that out. Okay, that you have the hand grip. Okay, pretty simple. It's the handle. People call it the handle. It's called the grip, but that's fine. Then you have the barrel. Right, that's where the bullets come out of, and then you have the muzzle, which is the tip, pretty much the tip. You can add muzzle brakes to it. You can add silencers to it. Doesn't matter. Usually on a normal gun, you can add things to it, but it depends on the gun. Then you have the cylinder, this round thing, the thing that spins, which is why people call it revolver, because it revolves. You have the cartridge, which is technically the shell with the bullet in it, but it's called a cartridge. This is not a real bullet. It is a BB shell. So you put this inside the cylinder, and then click it in, and that's what makes it fire. You have to, whenever you pull back the trigger or the hammer, it should spin this cylinder, and that's what locks the bullet in place. Good thing about these guns is that because it doesn't have a clip of which you put in the handle and it goes up to the barrel, you just have this cylinder that spins. You hardly ever, I'd say it's near to impossible to get this jammed, because all the bullets are right here in the circle. you guys see, and it just spins. So it's pretty near impossible to get jammed. Then basically the only thing left is the iron sights. Here's the rear iron sights. Here's the front iron sights. So basically when you look down, you'll be holding it like this, muzzle away from you, and just be looking down the sights, and you're going to try to get this little dot lined up with this iron sight. So that's basically it. The safety is a little different. If you have the safety on, you pull this back, can't fire, the hammer doesn't come back, basically it. But on the 44 Magnum, it will be down here, I do believe, with the trigger. So you have to figure out, because each gun has a different area for the safety. So that's basically with the guns. So now we know how to use the guns. Yeah, I just basically showed you everything about this gun. Let's talk a little bit about the military. I do support every military branch out there. I support our Marines, I support our soldiers, our Navy men, our Air Force men. I support all 4 branches of those. The only one I do not support, obviously I just said, is National Guard, because I do feel they're unconstitutional. It's the organization I disrespect. It's not the people. People could be really good. If you guys are a National Guard member, I'm sorry if it offends you, but if I have flags out for Memorial Day, yours' flag will not be up there. So I just want to point that out. Yeah, that's basically it. So we just covered the whole Second Amendment, covered, the militia, National Guard, gun rights, and how guns work. Yeah, so I'm Paul McVicker, proud maker of Country Boy at Heart / American Patriot. If you guys love this video, if you guys agree, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe. If you guys disagree, or you guys want to debate it a little, just put a comment below. Feel free to comment back to you guys as soon as possible. Love you all. God bless.